The Audacity just wrapped up its first season on AMC, and it left fans with a whole lot of questions. Created by Jonathan Glatzer, the show follows tech CEO Duncan Park, who's fighting to keep his data mining company, Hypernosis, from going under. After a deal with Cupertino falls apart, Duncan makes a desperate move. He blackmails his own therapist, JoAnne Felder, who's secretly been using client sessions to fuel an insider trading scheme. Using her secrets as leverage, Duncan manages to win over Bardolph, a billionaire who's basically seen it all and is impressed by almost nothing. But just when things look like they're going his way, Duncan gets pushed out of his own company. He doesn't stay down for long, though. By the finale, he's built a brand new company from scratch and lands a deal that brings him right back into Hypernosis. But then the season ends on a gut punch. JoAnne gets a call from the FBI. Release date. So when can we expect season 2? AMC actually confirmed the renewal back in March 2026, before season 1 had even premiered. Production on the new season kicked off around July 2026, which puts us on track for a release sometime in 2027. The FBI cliffhanger, what happens next? That FBI phone call at the end of season 1 is the biggest loose thread heading into season 2. It looks like JoAnne's insider trading has finally caught up to her. But here's the thing. It's unlikely the FBI would just call her up out of nowhere for a verbal confirmation. That feels like a misdirect. There's probably a much bigger reveal waiting just around the corner. And while all this is happening, JoAnne has no idea that her own husband and son are quietly off on a mission of their own. Add in the fact that there's a very obvious Chekhov's gun sitting around the school, and yeah, something's bound to go wrong. Then there's Duncan's side of the story. He ends season 1 looking like the winner, but there are hints that things are about to get a lot more deceptive. Watch closely during his deal with Bardolph. Bardolph pulls a single dollar out of a donation jar while sealing the agreement, almost like a signal that his heart isn't really in it. Going forward, we could be looking at a three-way power struggle between Bardolph, Duncan, and Anushka, especially since Anushka's partner seems ready to go to war over his AI creation. Speaking of which, Xander, now going by Xandar, seems suspiciously well-behaved for an AI that's just been forcibly aged by decades. That calm exterior might be hiding a rebellion that's quietly building. Because let's be honest, in this show's version of Silicon Valley, anything can happen. Cast, who's returning, who's new? Now let's talk cast. Billy Magnuson and Sarah Goldberg are both expected to return as the leads, Duncan Park and JoAnne Felder. But the show will be saying goodbye to Rob Corddry's character, Tom Ruffage, who dies by suicide at the end of season 1. The rest of the core cast is expected to return too. Megan Rath as Anushka Bhattacharya Pfister, Zach Galifianakis as Carl Bardolph, Simon Helberg as Martin Pfister, and Paul Adelstein as Dr. Gary Felder. As for new additions, Miriam Shore joins the cast as Agent Randy Fleming, the FBI agent teased at the end of season 1 who may already be on to JoAnne. Usman Ali is also joining as Byron Zandani, a Silicon Valley lawyer. There's also a promotion. Jess McLeod, who plays tech genius Harper and has been a real scene stealer, has officially been bumped up to series regular. And keep an eye out for expanded roles from Lucy Punch as Lily Park Hofstetter, Tylee Roberge as Tess Pfister, Everett Blunk as Orson Stern, and Ava Marie Tellick as Jamison Park Hofstetter. Dealing with Tom's death. Tom Ruffage's death is a major turning point for the show, and since it happens so close to the end of season 1, season 2 has a real opportunity to dig into the emotional fallout. We already get a small taste of that with Bardolph, who's shown toying with a figurine of Tom, almost like he's reflecting on the man and what he left behind. Duncan manages to steer that moment back into business talk, but that probably won't work forever. Here's the interesting part. Xandar, the AI, is now owned by the military and runs on decades of data collected from veterans. That basically makes him an extension of Tom's voice going forward, which feels fitting, since that's where this whole story started. The Duncan and JoAnne dynamic. At its core, the Audacity is really built around the strange, complicated relationship between Duncan and JoAnne. one that goes way beyond a typical patient-therapist dynamic. With so many other plot lines competing for screen time in Season 1, that relationship didn't get as much focus as it could have. Season 2 has a real chance to fix that. Duncan's got plenty to work through too, now that he knows about Lily and Hashim's affair. And JoAnne isn't in a much better spot. She's dealing with her own family troubles and issues connected to the house she's living in. What makes their dynamic work isn't spite of the toxicity between them, it's because of it. And that's exactly the kind of messy, satirical energy Season 2 can lean into even harder. So that's everything we know so far about the Audacity Season 2. The FBI cliffhanger, the new cast additions, and where Duncan and JoAnne's story might be headed next. Let me know in the comments what you think is coming for JoAnne. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe for more.